Hello and welcome to Lockdown Economy Nepal, a local edition of a social nonprofit initiative to help small businesses and self-employed professionals overcome the challenges of the pandemic. In Nepal, it is being done in collaboration with NYEF Kathmandu chapter, a membership-based nonprofit organization dedicated to create outstanding entrepreneurs, and AlterContacts, a sustainable development organization based in Amsterdam, Netherlands. Today is the first session of Lockdown Economy Nepal, and my name is Suzan Lal Manandar, your host for the interview series. I'd like to welcome everyone who has joined us for this session. Today, my guest is Mr. Sonam Shrestha, a researcher turned entrepreneur who is the co-founder of NoChini Private Limited. Hello, Sonam, how are you?
Thanks for having me, Sujin. I'm very good.
I'm glad to have you here on the interview series. And before we get into the lockdown economy questions itself, please tell our viewers what is NoChini.
Yeah, sure. So NoChini is this endeavor that we started in Kathmandu, where we wanted to bring a positive change in the health food sector. It started with just trying out different juices and putting it in the market. Now we have a company that does basically cold pressed juice. We're moving into snacks and healthy options for basically all food needs.
Okay, so you're based in Kathmandu itself, right? Okay, so it's a very good initiative because I think it's a very healthy alternative in the beverage industry as well, and especially right now during the lockdown when people are going through a lot of stress. They're having to stay home, and that takes a mental toll on people. So I think it's very important that people have this product and they can detox and lead a healthy life as well. So Sonam, please tell me, what was business like for you before the lockdown?
Business was pretty good. It was about our second year going into the market. So we'd fixed a lot of the kinks that we had in our previous year. We polished our products quite a bit. In terms of retail locations, we were in 29 different retail locations just in the city, and we had additional online platforms that we were selling through. We were seeing about double-digit compound growth annually, and yeah, that's kind of pre-COVID for you.
I think that's very good to hear that you were doing very well, of course, before the lockdown. I also understand that it is one of the fastest growing beverage businesses in Nepal. So that's also very good to hear. But of course, after that, the pandemic hit the world and it was followed by the lockdown. And that slowed down business for a lot of us. So how did you as an entrepreneur respond to the lockdown? Did you take some time off, or did you put some strategies in place to stimulate business and attract more customers?
That's a great question. So I'll tell you a little bit about what we did. And it was really a phase-by-phase process. The first phase, we really wanted to make sure that all of our employees were safe. The whole team could communicate in a very efficient way. So what we did for that was we started setting up virtual offices. So everyone was working from home. We had a lot of different systems put in place so that there was easy communication on all ends. Then it was time for production. We made sure we isolated production from all the other departments. Lastly, we had basically turning what used to be our brick and mortar sales and converting those to purely online. Like I said, all the point of sales that we had across the city, we closed those down. What that did is that increased profit margins for us. So even though we did take a significant hit when it comes to the revenue, we actually came out with larger profits in the lockdown period and a healthier cash flow. Those were some of the good things that came out of the lockdown. But in and of itself, we took a large revenue hit, and we tried to convert as many brick and mortar sales to online as possible.
All right, that's very good to hear that you were able to pivot even during such hard times and find revenue streams for the company itself. So tell me, did you see how the customers changed during the lockdown? Did you see a change in the behavior, how they try to reach to your company, or how they try to purchase your products?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the things that worked in our favor was that NoChini stood for quality products and quality ingredients from the get-go. Our health and sanitation was our #1 priority. And so that ethos really helped us moving into this lockdown economy, because people are more wary about what they put into their body, what they consume. And that was a huge shift in the customer dynamic. The second thing that we saw very evidently was the fact that people were more mobile friendly, more internet friendly. So like I said, we were converting a lot of our brick and mortar sales into online, and even more than that, we were converting those sales from to directly our own channels. So our website and our Instagram, we're seeing record sales. So that told me that the consumers were becoming more aware of where to get direct information for the product. And then you could also see a huge trend in e-banking and mobile banking. So like people would just pay using non-cash methods, which was really cool to see happen right in front of my eyes in the span of 2 or 3 months. Lastly, I mean, the most evident thing is that the disposable income for a lot of our customers, basically all over the world, has actually shrunk. So we could feel the implications of that in our business too. So yeah, that's kind of it.
All right. So did you see a similarity in the way your competitors responded to the lockdown?
Well, let me take it a step back. When you look at something like cold pressed juice, NoChini was the first mover in this space, and we kind of created this category inside the country. When we started, there was no such thing as cold press. There was no infrastructure for cold press, whether it be cold chain for supplying and distribution, whether it be hydraulic presses for making juices. Now, cold press has become synonymous with good juice. And not only big hotels and big restaurant chains are moving into cold press, there are other cold press companies that are coming into the market. NoChini still is by far the largest market shareholder in this sector. So even in the lockdown, we could see multiple companies enter into the space, which was very encouraging, which means that people really see the value in fresh products, in healthy products. And yeah, it's by far one of the fastest growing sectors inside of the beverage space in Nepal. So that's really positive.
Yeah, so I'm really happy to hear that the industry in itself is growing with more companies coming into the market. That is very good for, of course, all the players in the market, because you get to learn off of each other as well. So tell me, now that the lockdown has eased in Nepal, how is your business performing right now?
Well, the lockdown has eased, but our problem never was with lockdown. Our problem really was with the virus itself. So when we were dealing with, how to control our production sites, how to screen our employees while producing, and those are things that we just did not have a great handle on. So we had to shut down production because we wanted to ensure that each one of our production staff was routinely getting tested in order to make these juices. And that's a sacrifice that we had to make. So currently, we're still temporarily closed. It's been since the second lockdown in Nepal. And so even though lockdown itself has eased, we're seeing record number of cases in Nepal. So we're taking a very slow approach to starting production. But since the lockdown has eased, a lot of other businesses have opened up, which opens up our horizons for doing collaborative business with other companies. So just to give you an example, now we can actually focus on product development. So we can get packaging ready, we can get product testing ready, we can talk to different ministries and departments, governmental departments to get things underway. So a lot of the stuff that happens behind the curtains, a lot of the development work is actually happening faster than ever.
That's actually really good because, sometimes it can be very healthy to take a step back instead of just rushing and getting things done and going forward. Only right now you have a chance to step back and just see where your business is and what you want to incorporate further in your business. So yeah, that's really good to hear. So with these strategies in place, what is the outlook for NoChini for the next 3 to 4 months?
Yeah, so the first 3 quarters were definitely rough. But we really hope that the next quarter itself won't be as bad. We're seeing the festive season come in Nepal. That's definitely going to shoot consumer spending. We also have a bunch of different things happening inside our company, which sooner or later, when we do, we'll be seeing much higher numbers in sales of not just one product, but multiple products in our whole portfolio.
All right.
So yeah, that's sort of it.
This is my last question for you. So if you could point out a few things or 3 things in your business right now you need help with.
Sure. I don't know if I can come up with 3 things exactly. So the first thing, like many other companies, would really be quick access to capital without collateral. It's definitely a very tricky one for the government or any sort of private institution to fill out. But I feel like startups like us that have very optimistic aims for the future definitely need some sort of microfinancing or some sort of financing help in that regard. Again, there's an alternative to that, which is basically going lean by ourselves. The second thing that we're really hoping for is increased consumer spending in local products. Again, there's been so much media campaign, so much support for local businesses, and that's been one of the big driving factors. And one of the most encouraging things that really shows that's shown in the past couple of months is the fact that Nepali products are extremely competitive with imports from abroad. And so, we would like to see a little bit more consumer spending in domestic products. And honestly, those 2 would be it. A combination of those 2 is definitely going to help small businesses like us, especially in the beverage industry, get much faster growth.
All right, that is actually one of the points of this interview series as well, because we want to have a discussion going on in the entrepreneur community itself. So I'm sure there are viewers who are watching this and will be interested in talking to you and maybe collaborating in the things you just mentioned and come up with solutions for the things you just said right now. So yes, Sonam, thank you so much for doing this. It was a very informative conversation. I'd like to thank you for coming on board and sharing with us your insights.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for having me. It was great.
All right, and thank you to everyone who joined us for this session. If you have any questions for Sonam regarding his business or anything he mentioned during the interview, you can find his contact information in the description. I invite you to like this video, share it with your friends, and follow our page on NYEF Kathmandu chapter. A recording of this interview will be present on the AlterContacts YouTube channel. So please subscribe to our channel as well. There's a whole playlist over there where entrepreneurs from different parts of the world have shared with us their insights. So stay tuned. We'll have many more interviews like this in the coming weeks. Thank you for joining us again, and goodbye.